I spent 3 hours crying and praising God for that miracle.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
Well, good morning, beautiful fellow trumpets. My name is Laura Lee. I have a combined testimony today about the absolute miraculous provision, mercy, and protection of the Lord our God. On November 7th of this past year, I was involved in a very serious car accident on Highway 59 on the outskirts of Norwich. My vehicle was rear-ended at full speed as I was stopped behind a left-hand turning vehicle. The young driver in the white sports car behind me did not even see me. I caught a flash of him in my rear view mirror before the impact. The impact was powerful, a resounding crash, driving me into the back of the SUV in front of me. I'd screamed and called out. My car was crushed, the front hood folded up about a foot, the whole rear end support of my car fallen to the ground. I was able to force my door open with my shoulder and squeeze out. I had about a foot to go to the other drivers and check on them. My son and only child just happened to be working in Norwich that day, not a coincidence, in the kingdom of God. He was with me in the ambulance within 10 minutes of the accident. As he held my hand, I couldn't stop the tears streaming down my face and thanking Jesus out loud repeatedly. For some time, I knew I had been miraculously spared injury, and I went on protest by ambulance to be checked out. I told my family it was by protest. Fast forward to Christmas Eve day, a true Christmas miracle. My son was involved in a horrific crash, the same child, on the outskirts of Woodstock on his way to work. On his way for one service call, slushy road conditions, he hit a tree at a very high rate of speed, according to the attending OPP officer. He was immediately rushed to London Victoria Hospital. Our Christmas was canceled. He had not been wearing a seatbelt, not the norm. Again, not a coincidence. The related internal injuries that he would have sustained in that impact would have killed him. His airbag and the steel gear shift on the side of the steering column of a big Ford F-150 that snapped his right femur prevented him, the strongest bone in the body, by the way, prevented him from going through the windshield into the tree. He would have not survived the crash in a smaller vehicle. His forehead was split to the skull by 1.5 inches. I have pictures from the trauma clinician. He sustained 10 staples and 40 stitches across his forehead and behind his left ear to close the wound. He had a broken heel that didn't require surgery. The immediate CT scan done at the hospital showed no brain trauma, no internal injuries. The OPP told me personally, who came up to the hospital when he was unconscious, that he was a very yucky man to be alive, which I was already aware. I pray for my prodigal on a regular basis. Prayer matters. There were angels present with my son that morning. I don't know what I would do without my Christian family. I am so grateful for our intercessory team and the prayers of life that were released over him that morning. They were critical in this miracle. Cody was actually released that very Friday. That is 4 days later, despite a setback on the Wednesday of that week. Also amazing and supernatural. A week and a half later, when I received pictures of the crash of the wrecked truck, obviously wrapped around a tree, I spent 3 hours crying and praising God for that miracle. God spared my son's life that day. He is so faithful and amazing. Praise his holy name forever and ever, and don't stop praying for your families, people.